Hey everyone, welcome to a new lesson. It's time to take a look at another kind of layer. We've seen what all that we can do with the text layer, and now it's time to see what we can do with the shape layer. Let's go to new and create shape layer, and you can see that we created just a shape layer right now. And on this layer we can take the shape tool, which are these ones that we have used previously for creating the mask, and we can create anything. We can create a rectangle. Let me add some fill. We can create a rounded rectangle, which is the same of the rectangle, but the the corners are rounded. We can create an ellipse. We can create a polygon, and we can create a star. And of course we can create a simple path with the pen tool. If we take the pen tool, we can create our own path. Maybe we can draw something that we like. Like this, and will become a shape too. We can also, instead of going to the layer, new and shape layer, we can just, with nothing selected, just take your shape tool and create a star, for example, and this will automatically create a shape layer. Now, one of the nicest things on After Effects is that they let you customize almost anything that you want. So that's pretty helpful, because when you work on a software you want to be able to customize almost anything, and this amazing software allows you to do so. So that's pretty cool, and we will see how it works with the shape layers. For example, here, if I have this star, maybe I don't like the stroke. It has a red fill and a white stroke. Maybe I don't like this stroke, and you can see on the top part, you can see that we can change the fill and the stroke. Also, we can change the stroke width. If we lower this, of course, our stroke will be thinner, and if we increase this, it will be thicker. Or maybe I don't want a stroke at all, and if I don't want a stroke, I just click here on a stroke, and this will open a new window called Stroke Options, where I can select if I want a normal stroke, if I want a gradient stroke like this, if I want a radial gradient stroke. Of course, with anything that you select, you can customize the color of the gradient, you can customize the starting point of the gradient, and anything. And if you don't want any stroke, just click on none, and that's it. Also, you can change the fill. Just click on the color and change your color to whatever you want. Or maybe I just want fill and no color, and for that I'm going to click on fill, and again I have the same window and I have the same options. I can select a normal fill, a gradient fill, and a radial gradient fill. Now let me add some fill to it, and let's lower the stroke so that it's thinner. And now let's open our shape layer, and as you can see, we have a lot of things here. We have a lot going on here. We have the normal transform properties, which are same as we have worked with them before: the position, scale, rotation, and opacity. But I also have a contents properties, and you can see that it says polystar because we now have a polystar, and we can change anything here on the polystar. If I open the polystar 1 property, I can change the stroke right here. For example, if I want another color, maybe I want this blue, I can change the opacity of the stroke. I can change the thickness. I can even change if I want the caps to be rounded or the joints to be rounded. For example, right now they are sharp. Maybe I want them to be round, and you can see that the corners are now round. Maybe I want bevel. And with each option you have a lot of things that you can change. You can even change the stroke to dashes, maybe add some dashes here, and you can see how now the stroke, it's not a solid stroke but dashes instead. Maybe you want to play with this, make them bigger, and these dashes, they can be round, and we have a nice dash line on the stroke. You also have the fill options. You can change the opacity, you can change the color, and you have the polystar path options, which are really nice because you can change the type of shape that you want, the polystar that you want. Right now is on the star. Maybe you want a polygon. You can change the points, how many points it will have, the inner radius, the outer radius, the inner roundness, and the outer roundness. So you can create wonderful shapes with this. Just play around with all these shapes, and each and every shape of this has different settings. So let's delete this polystar and let's create a polygon. And this will have a different set of things. Let's create an ellipse, and this will have also other things. Also, you can create two shapes in one layer. Let's create an ellipse here, and with the same layer selected, I'm going to create a star in this point. Now you can see that we don't have two layers, we have just one layer, but we have on the contents, we have the polystar and the ellipse. So that's really nice because we can animate them both independently. For example, if I hit the transform properties and change the position, it will change both of them. But if I go to the polystar and go to the transform property on the polystar and change the position, it will change only the position of the polystar, of course. So I can animate them. Maybe I want this to move from this point to this point, and I want the ellipse to go from this point to this point. Now if I hit play, they will move to different sides of the composition. And you can create as many shapes as you want. I can create maybe a little star right here with the shape selected, and I have a new one, and you can see that it creates as many shapes as we want. Alright, let's create an ellipse because I want to show you something, and it's that you can change some things here on the contents. you can see that we have an add property, and if we hit play, it will take us to a new menu where we can change some things on the shape. For example, we can add some zigzag, and you can see that it created a new effect, and it applies on the contents, on the ellipse content, and we can play with the zigzag. Maybe we want the size to be bigger and the points not being corner but smooth, and we can play with anything here. We also have the twist, and we can change also, create another path inside this same shape. And if instead of a shape we use the path tool, we can see different options here. On the contents we have the shape, and we can alter the path. You can see that the path can be animated because it has a stopwatch, and maybe we want the path to change. I will add some new vertex here like this, and it created a new keyframe, and when I hit play it changes like that. Maybe we won't use this too much, but it's a nice thing to have. Finally, what if I have this ellipse? Let me create a simple ellipse without stroke. And what if I want a mask, create a mask for this ellipse? If I just create a rectangle here, it won't become a mask but a new shape. But let's take a look at these icons, and you can see that right now it selected this star, and if you hover over this icon you can see that it's called tool creates shape, meaning that obviously if we use this tool it will create a shape, but this one says tool creates mask. So if I hit this one and create a new rectangle, you can see that instead of creating a shape it created a mask, and as you can see here it says mask. So we have this option if we want to create a mask or we want to create a shape. Now let's go to the next lesson where I will teach you how to animate a shape layer.